Very cool. So when I'm talking about people or talking to students especially, and I'm talking to them about being a dancer because it's not an orthodox path for us
Hmm.
to to be a professional dancer is not something, especially when you're talking to girls because they think, wow, there's a million of them out there. I never stand a chance. I can't do it.
Right.
The first thing I teach them is if you don't believe you're the best, nobody else will.
Very true.
And I live my life that way. You've worked with me a little bit, and once I set my sights on something, there shouldn't really be a question in my head. If I'm going to go for it, I'm go for it. I love that you said, what, this is me, this is my show, and then 2 years
Yeah.
later you're doing it.
You're right.
You don't really pull all the strings to get there, but you set the goal, and you're like, man, I'm just going to do this.
It's
Uh,
very that's it's so true. That's so true. You have to have that. Like you always had it. I was always impressed by that. I think I had it before I had a kid. But and when you're young, you're not thinking about having a kid. You're not thinking about those things. You're thinking about this is what I want. I'm going to get this. So you do it.
yeah,
And that's we all. You, myself, Marcus. We all like this, those things. We were all pretty close, especially coming up in this business. But no, you have to have that confidence in yourself. It's not cockiness. It's confident in what you're going
yeah,
to do. You like I remember when Swing was closing. It was my first show that on Broadway that closed, and somebody said, "What are you going to do next?" And I was like, I think I'm going to go do Aida. Yeah, there's an audition next week, so I think I'm going to go do that. And then I went and did Aida next. So that was
bam,
that. That all it kind of changed for me once my daughter was born, and I was like, I'm a daddy now. It's not about just me anymore. So that
yeah,
changed for me a little bit. But no, you're exactly right. You can't worry about who else is out there, or uh, because in life, any business that you're in, there's somebody else out there. There's a bunch of people out there. It's just about what the work that you do, how much work you put in,
yeah,
and you got to be ready for the moment.
right,
It's about being ready for the moment. And if you're ready for the moment, who knows? People don't realize there's a million reasons why you may get something. There's a few reasons why you may get something, and there's quite a few reasons why you won't get something.
yeah,
But you don't know what those are.
yeah,
It could be as simple as, well, she fits the costumes.
that's
So
it.
she got it. And you have to realize that. So you can't say, well, I'm just a dime a dozen, or I understand that for women because there are a lot of women in this business, and I get it. But that being said, you have to believe that you are great, you are the best, and you need to come here and give it what you got. Because if you don't, you'll regret it.
Yeah,
You'll always be thinking about, well, God, I mean, you'll be seeing stuff on TV, or you'll be seeing shows, you'll be seeing, so you think you could dance, you'll be seeing whatever, and you're going, man, I could have done that. I danced just as good as that person.
yeah,
So if you don't try, you'll never know.
yeah.
But you got to be confident in it.
And for ladies especially, I tell the students, I'm like, well, look at it this way. If you think that there's a million girls out there, how many other girls are discounting themselves before they even get on the path?
Yeah,
So take
yeah.
advantage of that. If you
I,
are like every other girl, then they're all thinking exactly the same way you are. Hey,
you're right.
that leaves 100 of you.
You're right. I can think of auditions I've been at. I remember audition for Aida, and you seeing these girls walk in their leotards, and unitards, and just you see the ones who are serving it, ready to go,
Yep.
and then you see the ones who are kind of like, okay, and the ones I remember serving and ready to go, giving this confidence, sitting at the front, ready to rock it out. Those are the ones I saw later, first day of rehearsal.
Yeah. So, like,
and,
good
and,
for
and
you.
that's
I knew you'd get the job, and you could literally peg them, right?
exactly. I was like, I
Boo.
knew I was going to see you. You know what I mean?
I knew it, boo.
It's the truth. It's
Yeah.
the truth. You remember Allison Lee. You
Yeah.
remember her, and Kristen Wee, and I mean, I remember seeing these women in the room going, "Man, they're really good," and that's what you got to have,
Yeah.
because they came in there with their slick outfits and ready to stand out and give everything that they got, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Now, look, it's I firmly believe in knowing what you're capable of, knowing there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But if you think you got it, and especially with your top people there, and they're questioning whether they should be going forward or not, you got to break it down to them and let them know, like you're saying, that you got to give it a go, you got to give it a shot, because if you don't, you'll destroy yourself thinking about what you could have done and what
Yeah.
you could have been, and then you're putting it on your kids later, like pushing them. It's just like too much. You got
Yeah.
then you put in what you want. You think you should have had. You push it on your kids. You can't do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think for me, you only get one life. And when you're looking at the things that you're passionate about or you love doing, for me, you kind of like setting up the failure for the rest of your life.
Right.
Let's say that you want to be a dancer, but you don't think you're going to make it, so you give up there. That is
Right.
the first step. Giving up from that point on is just a replication of the hardest decision you
Gonna do.
already made. So you're on a
Absolutely.
path in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus, and there's a lot of people in New York who are just grinding it out. They've been there a decade and can't catch their break. But like you said, if you're focusing on being a waiter and paying the rent, you're not focusing on shows.
Yeah.
So there's a huge catch-22 that exists in our industry as well, but you can apply this to any business, whether you're going in for a job interview, you're going in for an audition, you're going in, for a school application. It doesn't matter. If you don't think you're the right person for the job, you're not going to make it. And if you are
Yeah.
distracted, you're not going to make it. You
That's
said
that's
once I focused on it wholly, it came to me, and I wish everybody would get that. There's so many people who live their lives so distracted, and then
right.
they're upset that they don't get what they want.
Well, that happens to me today. I mean, I get scenes and I get auditions, and I'm like, "Ah, I'm not right for this, and I might not be, but I've recently said, you know what? I don't care if I'm not right for it. I don't care what it is. I'm going to make it work for me. I'm going to go in there believing that I can get it. When I auditioned for Book of Mormon, I actually went in for Mafala, who is the father of Nabalungi, who's the girl lead, and he's like the kind of the leader of the tribe, the group, if you will. And I was like, I'm too I'm too young for this, and I was doing Lion King at the time, so I
Yeah.
knew they knew I was doing Lion King. I was playing Mufasa, but Mufasa's like he's got all this stuff on his face, I could do down here and talk this voice out, that whole thing.
Right.
But he has so much stuff going on, the big mask, and just you can play older,
Yeah.
be here, and be still, and know what you're doing, and give that presence where people feel that you're older. But Mafala was like, he's kind of lucky guy, and just you can't. I thought it'd be harder for me to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I wasn't gonna go. I wasn't gonna go, and because I was actually in Vegas at the time doing Lion King, and I had to fly to LA to do it. I had to miss a show, and I was like, I'm not big on missing shows. I'm always at work.
Yeah.
So my wife says, well, pull it up online. I'm sure we can find it somewhere. And I was pulling it up, and I listened to it because I knew nothing about the show. The show was a huge hit, and I knew nothing about it. It had just started, but I knew nothing about it. I knew it had been in the works for like 5 years or so. I knew it was on its way, but I just didn't know anything else about it. And I listened to it, man, and I was like, and my wife said, you know what? And I looked at her and I said, you're right. I can do this. I can do this. You know what? And then I changed my whole attitude. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go book this.
There you go.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go book this. I'm going to go book this part. And I flew to LA, walked in that room, sang my song, did my size, and they went, "Thank you." And I went,
You don't want to book me right here? You don't.
I was like, oh, okay. That didn't go how I thought it was going to go. And but then the director came after me, Casey Nicolau, who's wonderful, and he said, I think you did a great job. And he said, I think you're a little young. He said, but you're also, your arms are the size of my head, and it just doesn't make any sense when you're talking about there's not enough food to eat. He said, unless you're walking around with a barrel of water on your back and just singing the song. He said, it really doesn't work. He said, but there's another part that I think you'd be great for. And they gave me like 10 minutes, and I went out and read the part and didn't know really what's happening, but I just gave it truth, and here we are years later, still rocking it out. So you got to believe, even though I didn't get the part that I went in for, I believed that I was going to go in there and book something.
Yep.
And I went in there with a completely different attitude than I'd had in a long time, and it worked. It really does work, man. The positive thinking, man. The positive being, believing in yourself and believing that you can go in there and get anything. They see that. These people on the other side, they see the confidence. They see the life in you, and they go, "This guy's not scared. This guy's not." And even if you're not right, they're gonna remember you, and especially casting, they're gonna remember you, and then they're gonna say, "Well, he wasn't right for this, but he's damn sure right for that." And the story I'm telling you is a prime example of that. He wasn't right for that part, but hey, look at me. I'm still playing this other part that they thought I was right for years later.
And
So you got to believe in yourself.
Well, I tell everybody that I ask them first, and very few people get it right. And it's my answer. It's not. There's no right or wrong. What's the most attractive thing? What's the most attractive thing to other people? And they're like, well, hair or looks. But I'm like, no, confidence. Confidence is the most attractive thing. Somebody walks in a room and is confident. It doesn't matter whether it's a job, school, or audition. Like I was talking about, confidence is what attracts people to people. And if you're
You,
looking, if you're looking for somebody to represent you, your brand, your show, it doesn't matter. They want confident people.
yeah,
So, for me, if you're walking the path towards greatness, towards the life you want, towards that $1 million life, you got to find out how to make yourself confident and attractive to yourself before you start any of the other mumbo jumbo, because it all kind of suffers without having that backbone.
yeah.
And you may
That's very,
find success without it, but it doesn't mean it'll be
and it's
lasting
not
or
the same.
happy.
Yeah, it's not the same. You're absolutely right, LJ. It's you can't you couldn't be more right. I mean, like today, people, it seems like people have a problem with confidence here and there, because most people in the world aren't confident, or they take it as cockiness.
Right.
And nobody likes a cocky person. It can come off the wrong way. It rubs you differently. But there's a difference in being confident, but also on top of that, being confident, but also being kind.
Right.
It goes hand in hand. If you're a kind person but you're confident, man, that'll get you so far. It'll get you so far.
Yeah.
And anybody in this business, the people who make it, are confident people.
Yeah.
Period. The people who don't are not. The people it's very rare that you'll find somebody who's this mega star, who's this huge star, who's not confident.
Yeah.
You got some eccentric actors out there who they're kind of off, and they do their thing. But they're just brilliant. What they do, or what they do is just so specific. You're like, man, that guy is good at what he does. But I'm talking about, especially in the Broadway world. On that stage, these people own it, man. I see these people all the time, and they're very confident, but very beautiful people, and very kind.
Top of your head, first thing you suggest to a kid seeking their path, may not be performing, but seeking to find greatness in their life.
Entertainment wise, I would say, tell these kids to, really, even if they're dancing, if they're just straight up dancers, they got to start singing. Singing is so important. And just to be able to hold that tune,
Right.
that, be able to hold that tune is such a big thing, because that can be the difference between you, this great dancer, and you. You're both great, but if that girl sings just a little bit better. So that's another thing. And the other thing I would say is, just like you said before, just know what you want to do. Start thinking about it, and it all depends on your age. Like if you, I think when you start getting to around 11, 12 years old, you really got to start thinking about, what do I really want to do, and then you got to start preparing yourself to do those things. And then you got to set yourself some goals. And I had a goal, man. And I got to say, it was a short goal. It was a small goal. To me, it was big. I said I wanted to be on Broadway, and I wanted to star in a Broadway show. And then I reached that when I got on Broadway when I was 21.
There you go.
And then I started in a Broadway show when I was 24, 25, I believe.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget it. And I remember sitting in the mirror, standing in my dressing room, looking in the mirror, and having a moment like, you did it, buddy. Now we need to set a new goal. I think goals are so important. I know it's so cliche, but writing stuff down, write yourself 10 goals that you want to do by 30. And 10 is a bit much. Write 5 goals that you want to do by 30.
Yeah.
Write those bad babies down, and then start planning and start doing what you can to reach those goals. And I think that will help you and send you a long way towards reaching whatever your pinnacle will be.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Very cool.
The biggest thing.
All right. Well, thank you very much, bro. We'll definitely get back on Skype or FaceTime and do this again soon.
You got it, brother.
All right. Love you.
Good to see you, face. Love you too, man.
There you have it. A great interview with a great man. If you guys have any questions or comments for Derrick or myself, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, this is My $1 Million Life.